Today, I will be presenting on my future plans. But before that, let me tell you more about me. Well, my name is Alain Gonzalez and I am 19 years old. I'm in my second year, first semester at St. John's Junior College, and I am currently majoring in math and physics. I love playing sports and praying to God and spending time with my family and friends. My different career options. So I have chosen three different career options that I would like to become when I get older. I chose civil engineering, architecture, and piloting. My first choice and what I really want to become in the future is a civil engineer, followed by architect, followed by an architect, and then a pilot. Civil engineering. Well, what is the career? Civil engineers design, build, and maintain infrastructure projects. They can even supervise and operate these infrastructure projects. Civil engineers work privately or publicly. Some of these infrastructure projects are roads, buildings, tunnels, and even bridges. The average salary. In the US, civil engineers make an average yearly salary of about $87,060. Higher paid civil engineers make around $113,000, while lower civil engineers make around $68,000. I had asked a worker that works at M&M Engineering what her yearly salary was. She said that when she just started that her salary was around $675 a week, but the company provided her with other stipends such as phone bill and gas bill. However, according to the internet, civil engineers make an average yearly salary of around $45,720 in Belize, and salaries can range from $24,240 to around $69,480 a year. But why did I choose this career as my first choice? Well, I chose civil engineering as my first choice because ever since I was small, I love playing with Legos and these buildings and constructing them. And I always had a dream to be able to design my own building and construct it from scratch. Architect. Well, what is the career? Architects are skilled professionals who design buildings and in many cases supervise the construction process. And as you can see in this picture, architects are the people that physically draw up these plans and structures for the buildings and can even include the necessary details such as utility plans and the measurement scale to the real world. The average salary. In the US, architects make an average yearly salary of around $80,750. Higher paid architects make around $105,000, while lower paid architects make around $62,600. I had asked the same architect that designed the plans for my parents' house what his average salary for the year was, and he said that it is around $250,000. That's really a lot of money. However, according to the internet, architects make an average yearly salary of around $60,000 in Belize, and salaries can range from $31,800 to around $91,200. Why did I choose this career as my second option? Well, I chose this career as my second option because ever since I took technical drawing in high school and found it really interesting, I found out that I would really like to physically design the projects I would be working on. I feel like if I was to go study abroad, I would be double majoring in civil engineering and architecture just for the fun of it to see how it would work out. But if not, I would stick to civil engineering. Pilot. Well, what is a career? Pilots operate the flying controls of an aircraft. Nowadays, everything is controlled by computers, so pilots barely have any work to do. The hardest part of the pilot's job is to land the planes. The average salary. In the US, pilots make an average yearly salary of around $121,430. Higher paid pilots make an average yearly salary of around $208,000, while lower paid pilots make around $83,800. My uncle was a pilot back in the days. He worked for Tropic Air, and I asked him what his yearly salary was, and he said that it was around $48,000. However, according to the internet, the average yearly salary of a pilot in Belize is around $83,600, and the salary ranges from $41,880 to around $129,000 a year. Well, why did I choose pilot as my third option? I chose piloting as my third option because I have a really good interest in planes. I would like to build these planes, but I think that's a bit too much. So I would rather fly these planes. Note that for all these career options that I've chosen, you can earn a job here in Belize City under having a bachelor's degree. It would be even better if you got a master's degree, but you can earn a job here just by having a bachelor's degree. All the salaries that I mentioned in Belize, the yearly salaries in Belize, those are obtained from having a bachelor's degree in that specific career. Here are a list of my potential future schools. These are my universities ranked by my preference. At number one, we have Memorial University of Newfoundland. And at number two, we have University of South Florida. There was a controversy between these two universities because I really like Memorial University because of the co-op program, but I also really like the University of South Florida because of the proximity to Belize, and I would have a place to stay if I go to University of South Florida. At third, we have University of North Florida. At fourth, we have the University of Arkansas. And at fifth, we have the University of Calgary. Memorial University is ranked number 625 in the world and number 24 in Canada. University of South Florida is ranked 297 in the world and 96 in the US. The University of North Florida is ranked 1,856 in the world and 338 in the US. The University of Arkansas is ranked 542 in the world and number 147 in the US. And the University of Calgary is ranked 196 in the world and number 7 in Canada. Why did I choose these specific universities? Well, I chose the first four universities because SJC has a special link with these universities. These universities came to talk to us about their offerings and the stuff that we can do at their university. And I chose University of Calgary because I found it to be very interesting and would be a good challenge to see if I would be accepted or not. So the university, my first choice university is Memorial University of Newfoundland. I mainly chose this university as my first choice over USF because of the co-op program. I found it really interesting that I would be working and doing school at the same time. Whereas but I would be working in the civil engineering field. Whereas in USF I would be working at let's say a McDonald's or a fast food restaurant. I wouldn't have the experience as I would have as I would have gotten at Memorial University of Newfoundland. Well, the application deadline and cost. The deadline for the application is March 1st, and the cost is 120 Canadian dollars, which is roughly about 191 Belizean dollars. The tuition slash other fees. From the presentation that MUN came and talked to us about, they said that the average tuition is around 20,000 Canadian dollars with a 4% increase per year. That is around 31,961 Belizean dollars. Other fees such as housing and food and stuff like that come at a later price, and the total that we would need and what the man told us, we would need around $33,000 to around $38,000 Canadian dollars, which is roughly around 52,736 to 60,727 Belizean dollars. But where would I live? Well, it is advised that for my first year, I would live off campus so that I can get to know the country and the area a bit more and better. Also, if I live off campus, it would be cheaper than if I was living on campus. But I talked to my friend that is at MUN right now, and he said that for his first year, he lived off campus, obviously because it was cheaper. But he said that he had to study a lot, and therefore that's why he had to switch to on campus. He had to study a lot, and stuff like food and traveling was a bit of a problem for him. So that's why he had to switch on campus. Well, depending on my situation, whether I would be able to cook my meals and travel and have enough time to study, I would switch to on campus. If I have enough time, well, I would stay off campus since it's cheaper. The financial aid slash scholarships. The main thing that caught my attention from MUN was a co-op for a civil engineering program. This program is basically where you work and do school at the same time. The work is a paid internship. So basically you will be working as a civil engineer intern while getting paid. All other scholarships are the entrance scholarships. After you apply for MUN, you are automatically given the chance to be funded by one of these scholarships. So that means there are no other applications needed. One of these entrance scholarships is the Memorial University of Newfoundland International Entrance Scholarships, which is around $4,400. This this scholarship is for both the St. John's and Grenfell campus. Oh, I forgot to mention, if I was to study civil engineering at MUN, I would be specifically at the St. John's campus. So, the IUG's entrance scholarships for undergraduate students are specifically for St. John's campus students, and these range from $12,000 or $6,000. A key thing to note is that these scholarships are only for entrance, are only when your first year of studies. The school requirements. Well, to get accepted into MUN, you will need to have good grades of a 3.0 GPA and above. Specifically for international students, you will need to have at least 1 year of study at a recognized junior college or university. In my case, since I already have a year of study at a junior college, I don't need to require CAPE and CXCs and those stuff. Also, my post-secondary transcripts are very needed. Other things such as the weather, well, in Canada, we all know that Canada is really cold. As we speak right now in Newfoundland, the weather is around 2 degrees Celsius, which is really, really cold. During the summer times, it is around 16 degrees Celsius, and during summertime and during the winter time, it is around 0 degrees Celsius. For my length of study, oh, it's low battery. Sorry about that. For my length of study, it is 5 years. My first year is engineering one, where I will be given all the core subjects, and from that I will choose my major. Obviously, I will choose civil engineering. But if there are other options available for me to choose, then I'll see what I like. But for now, it's civil engineering. And then after that follows 4 years of the major. And that's about it for MUN. Now let's talk about the University of South Florida. Why did I mainly choose the University of South Florida? Well, my uncle lives in Tampa, and the University of South Florida is located in Tampa. Well, for civil engineers, the part that I will be studying is the Tampa campus, and my uncle lives at Tampa. If the University of South Florida offered co-op like MUN did, where you can work as a civil engineer and study at the same time, then this would easily be my first choice. The application deadline and cost. The application deadline is June 1st, and the cost of the application is 30 US, which is roughly around $60.47 Belize. Tuition slash other fees. When the lady came to talk to us, to SJCJC, about USF, she mentioned that the out of state tuition is around $17,324 a year, which is roughly around 34,921 Belize dollars, including other fees such as housing and meals. The total per year would be 38,450, which is around 77,506 Belizean dollars. But where will I live? I previously stated that my uncle lives in Florida, specifically Tampa, and being that I will study civil engineering, which is on the Tampa campus, that means I would be close proximity to my uncle. So therefore, I would live off campus with my uncle. But let's say I don't like living with my uncle and I feel like I would get strained, then I would switch to on campus where it would be easier. The financial aid slash scholarships. Well, the USF offers many scholarships to international students. Firstly, it offers the USF International Transfer Student Scholarship, which ranges of around $2,000, which is $500 a year. This scholarship, as you apply to USF, you are automatically considered for this scholarship. So depending on how good your grades are, at 3.0 and above, you will be given this scholarship. However, there is a Latin American and Caribbean scholarship, or as you all know it, the LAC scholarship. This scholarship is specifically for Latin American Caribbean students that apply to USF. This scholarship gives students the opportunity to pay in-state tuition, which is around $6,000 compared to $17,000. That is a dramatic change. This scholarship would be very beneficial to me since I would be paying less. Therefore, I can focus more on my others, other fees such as housing and meals. The school requirements. For the LAC scholarship, you are required to have a 3.5 plus GPA. And this means that you are, and for upper level transfer, which I'm considered upper level transfer student, you will need to have 60 plus transferable credits. So by the end of my third semester, I would have around 60, I would have exactly 60 transferable credits. Also, for other school requirements, you would need to have post-secondary transcripts. Since I'm considering an upper level transfer, I do not require to take SATs, which is the standardized testing for American students. Also, I forgot to mention that for Memorial University, I do not require to take CXC nor CAPE since I had recognized 1 year at a junior college. The weather in USF would be moderately the same to Belize, where sometimes it's hot, sometimes it's cold, but I can accommodate really well to it. And the length of study would be 4 years. For civil engineering, I would need to study for 4 years. Now let's talk about the University of North Florida. The University of North Florida. Well, why did I choose this university? I chose this university because, as I previously mentioned, I'm more interested in the universities that I can easily transfer my credits to, which are the universities that came and talked to SGSCJC. Also, the University of North Florida also offers LAC, but I will talk more about that later on. But first, what are the application deadlines and costs? The application deadline is May 1st, and it costs 30 US dollars, which is roughly $60.47 Belizean dollars. Tuition slash other fees. As the lady mentioned in the presentation, the tuition for out of state is $16,630 per year, which is roughly around 33,522 Belizean dollars, and including other fees such as housing and meals, the total per year would be 32,755 US dollars, which is roughly around $66,026 Belizean dollars. And where will I live? I would live off campus for my first year so that it would be cheaper for me and that I can get more familiar with the city. And depending on my situation, whether I would have enough time to cook my meals and travel to school every day, then I would switch to on campus. But other than that, I would stay off campus since it's cheaper. Now let's talk about the financial aid slash scholarships. UNF offers the International Student Admission Scholarship, which is roughly around $12,000 for the out of state tuition. So UNF gives you around $12,000 and it for the out of state tuition and it is renewed annually during the fall and spring semester. But I'm more focused on the fall semester, which starts around September. They also offer the Latin American and Caribbean scholarship, which we all know as LAC. So with this, you would pay the in-state tuition. And if we sum up all the fees, the housing and meals for out-of-state tuition, as I previously said, it would be $32,755. But if I was given the LAC scholarship, then I would pay around $20,255. Now let's talk about the school requirements. Since I'm considering an upper level transfer, I'm considered that because I have 30 plus credits by the time I get admitted to UNF. Also, you would need to have 3.5 plus GPA to get into to get the LAC scholarship. And you will also need post-secondary transcripts. Since I'm an upper level transfer, I do not require SAT, which is the standardized testing for American students. Also, the weather in UNF is really just like Belize weather, where I can accommodate easily to the weather. And the length of study is 4 years. So I would, similar to the USF, I would need to study here for 4 years. Another thing to know about the LOC scholarship is that it is really competitive. So chances are the higher your GPA is, the more of a chance you will of getting the LOC scholarship. Now let's look on the University of Arkansas. The University of Arkansas. Why did I choose this university? Well, since this university came and talked to SJSCJC, they have a great civil engineering program and they allow us to transfer our credits to their school. And I will talk about it later on. But the application deadline is June 1st and it costs 60 US dollar, which is approximately 120.95 Belizean dollars. The tuition slash other fees. The tuition is, according to the man that came and talked about the school, the tuition is around 27,594, which is around 55,622 Belizean dollars. That's included the 90% discount, which I will talk about more later on. Including fees such as housing and meals, the total per year would be $44,000, which is around 88,693 Belizean dollars. But where would I live? So to get more acquainted with the area, I would want to live off campus for the first year. Also because it would be cheaper to live off campus. But depending on my situation, whether I have time to cook my meals and travel to school every day, I would switch to on campus. If not, I would just stay off campus. Now, the financial aid slash scholarships. Remember when I mentioned this 90% discount? Well, for we have a Caribbean tuition advantage where we are given a 90% discount on the out of state tuition. You can only receive this discount if you have a 3.2 plus transferable GPA. Also, if you have below 3.2 GPA, you can have an 80% discount. And this is special for Belizean students. Now the school requirements. The general admission into the school is a minimum GPA of 3.0. And since I'm considered an upper level transfer, I do not need to take SATs. And I need to have 24 plus credit hours in order for me to get the Caribbean tuition advantage for transfer students. Also, the school requires post-secondary transcripts. How about the weather? Well, the weather is similarly or almost similar, a little bit colder than Belize at most times, but I can get the hang of it and adjust. The length of study is 4 years. For my civil engineering program, it will be 4 years. So I will study for 4 years. Now, finally, let's talk about my fifth and final university choice, Calgary University. Now, why did I choose this university? This university is well ranked in Canada, and this university will give me an opportunity to feel good about myself because I got accepted to Calgary University. So yes, I feel as though this university will be very beneficial in my civil engineering track. Now let's talk about the application deadlines and costs. The application deadline is March 1st, and the cost for the application is 145 Canadian dollars, the highest one yet, which is around 231.62 Belizean dollars. How about the tuition slash other fees? The tuition is $30,000 per year, which is 60,472 Belizean dollars. Including other fees such as housing and meals, it will be 43,000 to 45,000 total per year, which is around 86,677 to 90,709 Belizean dollars. Now, where will I live? It is advised that I live off campus for the first year of my studies in order for me to be more acquainted with the area and it will be more cheaper. However, depending on my situation, whether I will have enough time to cook my meals and travel to school, I would switch to on campus. The financial aid slash scholarships that the University of Calgary provide. The University of Calgary offers the University of Calgary International Entrance Scholarship. This scholarship are for your first term, which is approximately $15,000, and this can be renewed the following term. The school requirements. For general admissions, you must have a 2.6 plus GPA. However, you must have a minimum of 24 credit hours in order for it to be transferred over, and you can be classified as a transfer student to the University of Calgary. For engineering, the common first year entry would have to be around 3.1 to 3.5 GPA. And also, you will need to have post-secondary transcripts. We know that Canada is a really cold place, so therefore I will need to be acquainted and adapt to the new weather. Also, the civil engineering track is 4 years at the University of Calgary, so therefore I will need to be studying there for 4 years. For all these schools listed, I'm required to have 1 to 2 letters of recommendations, a copy of my passport, and my post-secondary transcripts, and I'm required to have the student visa for the required country. Note that these tuition and fees of all these schools sounds very high, but I got them straight from their website and from their presentations that they did to SJCJC. Now let's talk about the schools that I have applied for. I have applied for Memorial University of Newfoundland, the University of South Florida, and the University of North Florida. However, I am planning on applying to the University of Arkansas and to the University of Calgary soon. Here is some proof that I have applied to these universities. So, Memorial University. Thank you for your application to the 2022 Fall September at Memorial University. Where is it? You've applied to USF. Now what? Hi, Alain. Thank you for submitting your application for admission to the University of South Florida. Your USF ID. Where is it? I've already created my net ID and my UNF admissions. Your University of North Florida application. Dear Alain, thank you for submitting a University of North Florida admissions application. We look forward to receiving your file and learning more about you. Here's the email. I'll be waiting until my third semester is finished, then I will complete my 60 credit hours and I will have a better chance of getting accepted and getting the scholarships. Now let's talk about how I will pay for college. Family slash personal. My family has a budget of 80,000 Belizean dollars, but of course, I will need to find a part-time job that I can help them pay my tuition and school fees. So In the US, the average minimum wage is 7.25 US dollar per hour. However, in Florida, it is 10 US dollar per hour. And in Canada, the average minimum wage is $14 Canadian dollars per hour. So the job, I will get a job so that I can help pay tuition and fees. And school base, well, from the scholarships, with the LOC scholarship specifically, I will pay in-state tuition, which is approximately $6,400, which is roughly a $10,000 discount of out-state tuition, which would be a great benefit for me. Also, we have the co-op opportunities from Memorial University. And from the presentation that the man gave, you will receive approximately 20 to 25 Canadian dollars per hour. And this is for 4 months at 8 hours a day, which gives you an average of around 18,000 Canadian dollars. So all of that would go to my school fees, which would be very good. How about miscellaneous fees? Miscellaneous fees. Travel related. Well, I already have my visa. I have a B2 visa, which means I can travel for vacation purposes. However, I need a student visa. So the visa application, the interview is 350 Belizean dollars. And for the application, it is 60 Belizean dollars. And this is for the US. However, since we don't have an embassy in Belize, a Canadian embassy in Belize, we need to go to Guatemala to do our interview, and it is 150 Canadian dollars for the application. How about the plane tickets? Well, from Belize to Canada, it is around 600 Belize dollars. That's what I found on the internet. And from Belize to the US, it's around 600 Belize dollars. But it depends on the season. How about clothing? Well, if I plan on going on to Canada, obviously I will need winter clothing. So I have a budget of around 600 Belizean dollars for winter clothing. However, if I go to the US, I will need regular clothing like the clothing I have here at home. So I can have a cheaper budget of around 400 Belizean dollars since I already have regular clothing home. Now let us talk about what happens if all of this fails. What happens if all fails? Firstly, I will let you know that I also have my options open to Jesuit scholarships and Taiwan scholarships. The Jesuit Scholarship Program is a partnership between St. John's College and specific Jesuit colleges and universities in the United States. I will need to fill out an application for this Jesuit scholarships. The Jesuit scholarship pays for the tuition, so therefore housing and meals are not included, but the tuition will be taken care of. And these Taiwan scholarships, the Taiwan Embassy in Belize offers two scholarships. The MOFA Taiwan Scholarship Program, which is this scholarship will allow Belizeans to attend undergraduate or graduate programs of their choice at universities in Taiwan. And the Taiwan ICDF, which stands for the International Cooperation and Development Fund Scholarship Program, which will also allow Belizeans to attend undergraduate or graduate programs of their choice at universities in Taiwan. These these scholarships can help you with bachelor's degree and master's degree. The Taiwan scholarships, however, pay for everything. These Taiwan scholarships pay for the tuition, your housing, your meals. They also give you a monthly salary, and they also pay for your plane ticket, round trip plane tickets. This scholarship, the Taiwan scholarship, sounds like the best option for me. However, in Taiwan, you obviously speak Taiwanese, and that's not my language. I don't know how to speak Taiwanese. I know that I will learn, but Physics on its own is hard now. Imagine learning it in Taiwan, a whole other language. No, that's not an option, but it can happen. However, my plan, if all fails, my plan. My plan is to find a job in Belize City. I've worked at Mikada's Textile Palace from time to time, so I have real life experience in the real world, so I know how to get around doing jobs and stuff in the country. Also, I made an Instagram account where I sold clothes and I've made around 200% of my profit. Also, in high school, I sold pastries, well, the legal pastries, and I know I wasn't supposed to do it, but I had to make my money somehow. So it's either finding a job in Belize City that pays good or selling clothes and pastry. Maybe even opening a shop that sells clothes and pastry. Never know. How about what happens after college? My work. After college, I'm planning on becoming a successful civil engineer. After obtaining my bachelor's degree, I plan to take my master's degree. I always had this dream to develop our country Belize. I don't know, but have you ever been to the United States and saw all the highways and the freeways and the bridges and how modern the country looks? That's how I want my country to look. I want to develop Belize. I want to make Belize look like beautiful as United States or even better. So that's my plan to develop my country, make my country beautiful, even more beautiful. And with that said, that's the end of my presentation. Thank you for watching.